Peace, blessings, salutations. Yarima Karama here, real life, real talk. These are the days of our lives. So, wanted to talk for a minute because I've been getting some feedback in my some questions concerning the transferring of money and from white financial institutions transferring that to black institutions. Also, wanted to touch on the subject of uh, the brother D.L. Hughley. Um, I did a video was sent to me. I posted it yesterday on my Facebook page, and it was pretty. For the most part, for me, it was kind of disheartening. But the question for me is like, why? So he did a video, or not a video. He did an interview on Fox News. He was interviewed by Megyn Kelly. And for all intents and purposes, we know what Fox News stands for. So I love the brother DL Hughley. I love the fact that he's on that plateau and is speaking out, because a lot of the people on who have reached a certain level, they don't speak out, and which is quite frankly part of the problem. So I like the fact that he is able to speak out. He's very prolific in what he has to say, and I like a lot of the things that he does have to say. But my thing is, why even sit down with Fox News? Why even entertain them when you know that you're going into an establishment that is going to berate you, demean you, when you know that this is a racist establishment? Why even give them that consideration? They should have been told blatantly no off the top. Matter of fact, until they changed their practices. And then you had the commentary was so disrespectful on the part of Megyn Kelly. I mean, she was cutting the brother off, wasn't trying to give him a chance to speak. You can tell the racist overtones that she has. And again, this is the same woman who was basically tongue lashed by Donald Trump and told that basically, in a nutshell, all she's good for is bleeding. So I mean, this network that has shown nothing but bigotry, racism, and they try to flame the passions of racism with their commentary. So my thing is, DL shouldn't even have been on that show. They couldn't have gotten me on that show. And I could tell that he was, in the process of the interview, you could see the frustration that he's going through trying to explain, and she keeps cutting him off and all of that. So it was just kind of, for me, it was like, brother, why did you even agree to that? And I was on a network a couple weeks back, about a week and a half ago, called RT America. And basically, it's you can go on YouTube and see what they do. You can see my video that I put up. I posted it also on my Facebook as well as Twitter page. But totally different commentary, totally different structure. They were more their system was more geared towards actually just asking the question and letting a person speak. It was more of a real interview, like, we want to get to the bottom of this, as opposed to Fox News, which is more of a we want to antagonize you as much as possible type scenario. So if you get a chance to go through and see that video, it's like I said, it pretty much disheartening for me, because you have an intelligent brother like D.L. Hughley, and he gets on there, and they just, and I mean, for the most part, he still did his thing, but he shouldn't even have been on there, period. Because quite frankly, DL, you're too intelligent, too smart to be on a network that is that low in the mud. They don't even deserve your words. Just wanted to put that out there. The other thing is that, sometimes you have people that play the devil's advocate, and I get it. You have people that want to, and sometimes playing the devil's advocate is good, because it gets people thinking. And I'm never one that says that I have all the answers. So the thing is question came up. What's the purpose in taking money out of a white owned banking institution to put it into a black owned banking institution? What's the difference? They're still, are they still regulated by the same people? What's the purpose? Are the interest rates still the same? And to my point, these were legitimate questions that I think should be brought up. I'm not a banking expert, so and so that's why a lot of times when I do the commentary, I will call on people and say, hey, the experts or the brilliant minds out there, please give your feedback, because I don't have all the answers, and I'm quick to say that I don't. So when this feedback was given, I said that, quite frankly, the purpose in this was to we do want to build camaraderie in the black community. We do want to build black wealth in the black community and keep that circulating within our community. So the purpose of this, for all intents and purposes, it was to basically extricate or take our money out of white-owned financial institutions. Now, whether you took that money and put it into a mattress, it really didn't matter. Just get it out of their institution, because they're able to do things with that money, which is why most banking institutions, you have to have a certain amount of money either in a savings account, or you have to keep a certain balance, or you have to deposit a certain amount per month, because they're able to do things with that money. And so if you don't, and so the option was, okay, if you don't necessarily want to take your money out of a white owned banking institution and put it into a black owned, well, there are credit unions which have different regulations. I don't think most credit unions are regulated by the FDIC. And so, and apologies too, because the other day I was using FCC, but it's FDIC. So, but taking the money out, period. Like I said, even if you're putting the money in your mattress, it's the point of this whole thing was to send a message that we're tired of our people getting killed. And if the only way that we can get that point across to you is that we're not going to accept any more black lives being just slaughtered, assassinated, exterminated in the streets of this country, if the only way we can get that message to you is by taking our dollars out of your system, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to, by any means necessary. And so I wanted to get that point across, that, there's another layer to this, like we should probably be supporting black banking institutions, as long as they're supporting us. It's a twofold measure. One thing that we do know is that most white-owned banking institutions, if not all, do not support us. I mean, there have been higher interest rates in the past. There have been higher home loans, mortgage rates, and all of that. We know what our ancestors from back in the day went through. And some of them got their homes taken after the home was actually paid off, because there were some contractual things that were slipped in there. So we know that we're dealing not only with a beast in police uniform wearing a badge, but we also know that we're dealing with a beast in the banking institution that likes to use our dollars for lack of a better term, for diabolical type schemes and methods as far as money is concerned. So we want to make sure that we pull that money out. Now, where we put that money, I would suggest that any institution that you're going to put, a financial institution that you're going to take your money and transfer it to, I would suggest that you investigate. I have put up a list of black-owned businesses or black-owned banks and credit unions, but that doesn't mean that you don't investigate those institutions or particular institution that you're going to put your money into. But here's my thing. And this is what happens, and I see it play out time and time and time again, is we're always quick, and to me it's like a cop out. It's like an easy way out. We're always quick to try to figure out why something won't work. We're quick to go through and dissect exactly, this won't work because this won't work because this won't work. Have you looked at this? This is why this won't work. No, the reason things won't work is because we as black people refuse to come together and move in a unified fashion. That's why it doesn't work. Because if the premise is this, if we're moving, first of all, we're a spiritual people. that we have a spiritual connection to the universe. We just do. Now we have gotten away from some of that because we've gotten on the humanistic thing. But in the deepest core of our existence, we are a spiritual people. So if we decide to move together, the universe is going to make sure we're okay. So that's the problem. Instead of dissecting everything as to why something won't work, let's look at the reasons why something can work. Or let's put the minds together and say, okay, part of this can work, but I think we need to do this, this, and this. A, B, and C can work, but we also need D, E, F. So that's the premise of this, is that something needs to be done. Now, I'm not saying jump out there and just do anything, but I am saying I think that we have come up with a viable option, a viable response to our people not only being slaughtered and killed in the streets, but being mistreated in our communities by a force that feels like they can come in, disrupt, disharmonize, and do everything that they can in our communities, and then go back out to the suburbs where they live and live unscathed. So that's the other part of the equation. It's not just black men, women, and children out here in the streets being slaughtered, but it's also a police regime, the Gestapo. I call it how I see it. A Gestapo who feels like they can come into the community, disrupt, disharmonize, that they can come in and let their frustrations out on our communities, because some of them, their wives are cheating. If you look at the police force, they have the highest rates of domestic violence and stuff. If you really take it into its core, so their wives are probably cheating on them. They're going through a bunch of frustration. They probably have issues where they need Viagra, that kind of thing. And so they feel like they can come to our communities and take their frustration and their anger and their racism out on us, because we do know, and I've done a lot of posts on it, we do know that many of them hide out in Ku Klux Klan's uniforms on their days off. So we need a response. So and like I said, I don't have all the answers. So if you feel like the banking thing is not a viable option, well, then let's figure out something that is. I personally think the money issue is a very viable option, especially and I will reiterate this, especially when we talk about Black Friday. Let's stay away from that, man. Let's stay away from Black Friday at all cost. Let's stay away from Black Friday. But like I said, this needs to go on 6 months to a year. Us not doing anything but spending money on needs, not wants. And if you have to do a want, for that matter, if you have to do a need, let's try to make those Black-owned businesses. So I went through and we posted Black-owned businesses. You could go, I posted a site, www.supportblackowned.com /directory/categories. It'll show you Black businesses all over the country. And so I'm trying to even come up with more lists. I know here in the Columbus area where I'm at, they went through and actually, we had a meeting the other day, a group meeting, and they went through and actually posted all the Black businesses within the city and had people on Facebook, if they were on a particular street as they were moving throughout the day, were able to, hey, where can I find this? Where can I find that? Where can I need to find a restaurant because it's lunchtime. I need to find a clothing outlet. Hey, where can I go get some shea butter? That sort of thing. So we're doing all that we can. More needs to be done, but only more can be done if we're moving in a unified fashion. And so again, the point is, take the money out of white-owned financial institutions. Whether you put that money in your mattress, whether you put that money, in a credit union, that's on you. Investigate where you have to put that money, and that's the premise, man. So let's not always try to dissect everything as to why it won't work. Let's try to get on something that we know will. Let's look at it. Let's try to have a positive outlook about this thing. Let's, we're losing life as it is. So let's try to look at what we can do as a unified group as to what will work. I get tired of hearing what won't work. And when you have a energy and you're out here moving you don't even want to be around people who's always talking about, who's got that apathetic attitude like, oh, this won't work, that won't work. That's why we're stuck in the rut that we're in. I was driving through the hood just yesterday, and it was like, there's so much that we can do, but there's so much of an apathetic attitude, man. Apathy, and that will kill us. Apathy, because apathy builds all kinds of stress and other things, because when you are apathetic, that's a lack of hope. Most people that are apathetic have no hope, and so when they have no hope, they're just out here. You're not even living, you're just existing. And I refuse to be on this plane where I'm just existing. If I'm just going to exist, I need to be dead and move on to the next realm. So I'm never going to just exist. We have to live. And when you got people living like Philando Castile, who was living, working, diligently supporting his family, and his life just gets snuffed out, that means something. That means something. And so we have to take some type of action to prevent the next person who's on that right path, who isn't just existing, but who is actually living, and make sure that their life doesn't get snuffed out. So again, my name is Yurima Karama, man. Hit me. Go to my webpage, www.yurimakarama.com. You can go there for booking, speaking engagements. I know that you all are curious about my album when it's coming out. I've been told by the editor, producer, Esco, that it should be done this Sunday. We're already talking about planning a listening party, and then we're going to have an album release party for that. Also, I'm doing a GoFundMe because I want to live stream Black businesses across the country. And so if you can support, please do that, because I want to go across the country and live stream Black businesses and Black business owners, tell you who they are, what they do, and where they're located. And so that we not only can go to a directory and find out where Black businesses are, but you can actually get a visual and see what they're doing. And so also for the people that reached out to the sister Stephanie Boutte and helped in her plight, we did the video yesterday. I did a live stream, and I also did a YouTube video with her. Let her do a walkthrough of her school down in Texas. It's called H-Tech, Houston Training and Education Center. The feedback was phenomenal. You all are great. Thank you for the support that you gave that queen, because we need that. She's an educator, and she's had her educational institution up for 19 years. So the support that you reached out and gave her, I'm sure that she's thankful for that. I'm thankful for that. So let's each one support one. Let's keep this movement going. But to answer the questions that came through, the point is, we can talk about interest rates and all of that in Black-owned businesses. The point was taking the money out of white financial institutions. That was the point, in mass droves, because that talks. When people come into a banking institution, especially in mass droves, and start talking about taking their money out, they're going to transfer it to other places, questions start being asked. And so eventually, what do you want? We want our people to stop being killed by your assassins in blue, the biggest gang in this country. They're called the police. So with that said, my name is Yurima Karama. Peace, blessings, salutations. One, I'm out. Peace.